What's up, Bobby?
Bobby.
So, can you hear me fine? Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Sorry.
Oh, there you are. There you are. There you are.
Sorry, everybody. I was late, but I'm here now. I appreciate everyone being here.
I feel like your standards are. I feel like your standards are too high because you said that you were going to be stuck in traffic, and I'm actually in traffic. So you didn't have to make it so perfect to start the stream. You can do it from on location.
Oh, we got Stewart trying to get in. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, I went to Jacksonville to train, and guys, let me know if my mic is too hot, right? Like I turned it down. Some people said it was a little too loud, so I turned it down. If it's Angelica, you sound great. I don't know what's up with Stewart yet. I don't see him. But I went to Jacksonville to train, and we trained at 10. It's 2 p.m. It's 2:13 here. And we grabbed lunch.
Sorry, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, you sound good.
Yeah, loud and clear.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Good evening, Bobby. Good evening, Angelica.
Good evening, everyone.
Or should I say good morning, Angelica? Good afternoon, Bobby. Where you are.
What's up, TJ? I see you in there, brother. I see you in there, brother. A lot of people, man. Hello, everyone. Already there's 23 people. Kind of. Let me know if it is. I turned it down because you said it was a little hot, so it should be better. Man, let's say hello to everyone. We got a ton of people in. I can't scroll. I don't know why I can't scroll now, but Patty, Nelson, Mr. Nick, Johnny, Jim, Run Boston Bear. That's TJ, ET, baby. Thanks for stopping in. Don't have anything specific to talk about. Just kind of want to do a weekly, wrap up, if you will. The only thing a good day, Blood's Thick, Mojo Shop, Patty Nelson. I had the Brendasode, probably enough of the Brandasodes. That was pretty brutal. She really, whatever
I can only watch so much. I can only watch so much of that, mate.
It was a test for me. I wanted to test myself and see if I could remain calm. I said before I did it that I was going to put a banner above my monitor that said, "Calm down, breathe," because I knew it was going to go to that level. Right? Like, that's their MO.
It is their MO. One of my favorite fighters is Bas Rutten, just because he's a classic, right? And I don't know if you've ever seen, especially during the Pancras, where he had R's written on his hands with permanent marker. And we always assumed that it was R for Rutten. And one of the time I went down to New Orleans once to train in one of his seminars. It was amazing, but he had disclosed that the R stands for relax. So especially, he liked to fight off his back and whatnot. And without the gloves, they couldn't do closed fists. They had to do open palm heel strikes. So every time he would hit, bam, it'd just be relax, relax. I'm pretty sure that was more, well, you know what? It could have been for the person he was hitting too. Like, just relax. This will be over quick. But I think it was primarily for him, just to relax. So you're in good company there with your relax banner, Bobby.
Yeah, thank you. I'm working on it. So I thought that would be a good way to sharpen my sword, right? Because my goal is to always have a really calm demeanor. I don't want to cuss, and I don't want to lose my cool. So I thought that was a great way to sharpen the blade. Some ET baby said talk about the UFO over Alaska. I wish I could. I don't know anything about it. I didn't see it. I'm pretty busy, right? I only get to kind of do research nowadays on the weekends, and I'm working on more videos I'm
I tried to
on.
look into that, but there's very little information out there at the moment with it being fresh, and there's not many people being able to talk about it at the moment.
Yeah. I could.
So,
They Live Sunglasses said make a short video, right? I like some planos, some channels like Joe Rogan clips and whatnot. They'll kind of clip out highlights. But man, Brenda did really lay into me about that. And what are your all's thoughts? Let me share, Angelica and Stewart. You might have missed this, but as someone, I'm going to start saying true earther for my own reasons. But let's say I'm a true earther, and obviously as such, I can't believe in the Challenger explosions, or at least I don't, regardless. And she's saying I should be sued and lose everything like Alex Jones. I should, not that I have a lot, I don't. I mean, I'm kind of just an average person as far as quality of life, but she said I should lose anything that I have. And I think we have a right to say whatever we want. It hurts you, I'm sorry, but you have to deal with it. That's my belief. If y'all think.
So what reason was it that you're supposed to be losing everything you had?
Because of the video I made of the Challenger, and she said that me saying or insinuating that those people were still alive would cause pain and suffering to the relatives of the people that lost a family member.
I'm going to go right to the core of humanity here. Even if, obviously, if you differ on sides of what's true, what's not, what have you, aside from all that, without it being blatant, torturous pain that you're causing somebody, what clause, what contract when you were born were you given where you said your life will be free from pain, suffering, adversity, challenges? I never got one when I was born. I don't think anyone else has either. So at some point you have to realize that being on this earth, you are subject to pain and suffering, and there's no compensation for that unless it's done in a manner that could bring justice about. So I don't understand where that entitlement of this lady, guy, whatever he is entitled to dictate that someone else should compensate someone who perhaps may be subject to pain and suffering. Like, I think that's a part of life, is it not? Or I don't know, unless we got signed up for the wrong program.
But I think if anything else, and she, whatever's going on about your thing, I think the more so sort of condemnation should go to the people that orchestrated this, the trauma that they put people through, that orchestrated this particular incident. They're the ones that should be struck off and have everything. You know what I mean? The trauma of getting all the kids in the schools on that particular occasion, and I think blatantly knowing what was going to happen, just to set this trauma in to the kids' minds, they should be being castrated.
Yeah, you make something traumatic and it becomes real, right? Like things like this, and I'm entitled to that belief system.
I think personally that all that was orchestrated so to say, right, well, we can no longer go to space now. The shuttle journeys are dangerous. We can't send them up no more because of this disaster. And at the end of the day, like I say, the whole thing was orchestrated to set that fear, to set that sort of mindset that can't do that anymore.
So I got here's a question, came from ET Baby, said serious question. And by the way, I'm reading all these. I'm not, but about the Anunnaki, right? So before I became a true earther, I was years into Anunnaki. I was, if you know much about the Anunnaki, we'll just talk about it because I do have a history with it, that was all started by a guy named Zechariah Sitchin. Right? Not Zachariah. Some people say Zachariah. It's not Zach. It's with an E. Zechariah Sitchin. He's the guy who translated the tablets. And he's all self-taught, right? He didn't have a degree in cuneiform or anything, but he taught himself how to translate these things. And he's the one who kind of mixed the Bible with the Enuma Elish and the creations and all the Sumerian history, and basically turned them into aliens, right? in my opinion, it's a perversion of the Bible and a mixing of Sumerian history, and that stuff is curious to me. Like I look at that stuff, but for me, I still pray to God, right? Like I believe in the God of the Bible, but I do think it's okay. It says in the Bible, question all things and hold fast that which is true. Something like that. I am the biggest butcher of biblical verses, but I think it's okay to question things, right? And it also, the Bible, I don't think the Bible says, and correct me if I'm wrong, that there may not, that if it's not in the Bible, it's not true, right? Like, I don't think that's the Bible's truth, but it's also possible that you can get bits and pieces of truth from other places. You just can't confirm it, right? Like that's just my personal belief. And I'm young in my religious journey. That's why I try to stay away from it and know what I feel yet. I'm still learning my beliefs.
I would have to say the closest generalization or generalized scripture of that is that there's nothing new under the sun. So things like even how we get science and medicine and behavior patterns, anything along those lines, there's nothing new under the sun. So if it's new, it's probably not biblical in the sense of, I'll say, for instance, if you design a helicopter or an airplane, typically those inspirations are taken from birds, right? Or something along that line that's already in nature. So if someone comes along and says, this is totally new, never before seen, not testable, that's probably not biblical. But yeah, there's truth outside of the Bible. It just never contradicts it. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're really into you were curious about the Anunnaki, there's a website I once referenced called sitchiniswrong.com, right? I'm fascinated by Anunnaki. They use that term in the Bible, the sons of Anak and the Anunnaki, and I may be relating these wrong. I'm learning. I don't have time to like research that full time, but I did put in quite a bit of time into it when I did. But it's interesting. I don't think there's anything wrong with learning history. I don't think there's anything wrong about learning Sumerian history or Babylonian history or Akkadian, whatever. Someone said you ignore all trolls. And that's something I've been questioning myself about is, every once in a while you get what we consider troll comments on my YouTube channel, because I leave my channel open for comments because I love all the positive support we get. I get some really positive support, but occasionally you get the trolls. And do you delete them or do you leave them there? Like, I'm curious what your all's opinions are. What if it were your channel? Would you just delete that stuff, or would you leave it there and let them, or they say, oh, you're just not giving us a voice? Do they deserve a voice on our channel? What are your all's thoughts on
that? I think personally, I think we've talked about this before, and I've mentioned it. At the end of the day, I mean, I'm sure the genuine people that are on here can discern sort of like rubbish that's spoken. I mean, for me, I leave any chat going, and the sort of like the genuine people are discerning enough. You know what I mean? I don't know. They take it or leave it, don't they?
So what are I want to see the people in the comments, their thoughts, and I want to hear both of your thoughts. Do I give them a voice or do I just delete it?
Okay. Wait, hold on. I'm walking on it right now. Is it too crunchy?
It's pretty crunchy. It sounds like you're eating ice or something. That's really,
okay.
Really crunchy.
Hold on. Let me come over here to the sun real quick. Okay. So here's my thought on that. I think it should be the same as drunk drivers. Like, if you want to drive drunk, you should have your own lane, right? So if like I really want to drive drunk, and the system is suppressing me and my right to drive, cool, have your own lane, and all the drunk drivers can be on that lane. Same as when I think same as when fighters want to, or any athlete really wants to compete under use of steroids. Like, I think fine, you should have your own division, right? So I think trolls should have their own comment. I don't know if someone can design it where like spam goes to your email, where it automatically gets put in one. So maybe trolls can be assigned a color or something, or on the right column, and then everyone else could be on the left. This way they could still have it, but it's the drunk driving lane on the highway.
I'm not talking about deleting people, but I'm talking about, should I delete comments of what I consider trolls? Because let's say people are coming to my channel for what I believe is truth, right? Again, subjectively, I believe wholeheartedly we live in this realm, right? So if they're out there saying, like, oh, this has been debunked, just in their subjective opinion, this is a fact, you're just wrong, right? In a very Brenda-ish style. But they're not proving anything. They're not, they're just kind of, in my opinion, trolling. Do you just delete that, or do you give them a voice? Do they deserve a voice, or should their voice be their own? They get my platform. Do I leave negative comments on? I'm just curious, because I'm curious what the community would think. Is it wrong of me? Am I hiding if I'm just deleting their comments?
I mean, I'd let the comments ride, and like I say, people then just discern sort of like what to take from that themselves. I mean, I'm sure that the higher percentage of people that come on a channel like this, and a lot of probably our viewers or whatever, have got enough discernment in themselves to say that's a load of crap or whatever, and just let them get on with it. I mean, if that's where they get their jollies from, then that's up to for me. That's up to them. It's whether enough, Bobby, you've got the willpower to ignore them and not bite.
Is there a way, since you guys are so techie, is there a way that the more annoying a person is, the smaller their font comment can be? Like, like you can start off with like 12-point font, and then it gets down to 6 or something.
Let me answer something real quick. Some ET baby said he didn't make up. I agree with you. No, that was a miss. That I said that wrong. Right. I'm glad you asked, because I will clarify myself. Sometimes I say things wrong, right? We all do that from time to time, but no, he did not. I don't think he made up the term, right? I agree with you. To go back to that Anunnaki thing real quick, because they're still posting about it. I still entertain it, right? I still like learning about it, even if it's just for entertainment. I think the more you learn something, the more you distinguish truth from fiction, right? And I personally do enjoy learning it. And I'll tell you who I follow today. And I do watch their videos regularly, at least weekly. I follow David Vos and I follow Trey Smith. And they're kind of like, in my opinion, kind of experts on the Anunnaki. In my opinion, those are the two best channels I've ever seen, David Vos and Trey Smith. Trey Smith has released some really good videos. He's an interesting guy, kind of quirky. He's just kind of, if you watch him, you'll see what I mean. He's maybe got a little bit of, I think we all have a little ADD or something, but he's just an interesting, quirky kind of guy, but the guy's got a brain on him, if you ask me. And they have their own opinions of how the Bible ties into it. And I'm not being a proponent of that. And I'm also not being someone negative about it. I say the truth does not, we're allowed to question all things. The truth does not fear investigation. It's like a lion, set it out and it'll defend itself. It's okay to go out and entertain these things, in my opinion. But yeah, I would say if you kind of really want to go down that road, really look at David Vos and Trey Smith. Angelica, you have a fan. Just want to let you know that.
Angelica's got loads of fans.
It's too, I can't read half of that from my phone unless I get my face like right up there, and I don't want to scare the bambinos.
I'll check out that channel. I'm always up for revision. My thoughts are fluid, so I will check out that channel, Ancient Alien Archives. I'm kind of turned off by anything that says alien. When it says alien in it, I don't believe in aliens personally, but I will check it out. Sorry. So yeah, Angelica, you missed the Jeranism show. Stewart and I had a great time. We were on there with Austin and Jeran, two legends.
You say we had a great time. I felt like a right loose part on that particular. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, but I think I may have been a little starstruck. Hey, I'm on the Jeranism show, and I was a little bit starstruck and didn't put a lot of it about. I just chimed in now and again, but I loved it. And yeah, you were well missed, Angelica. They were very disappointed you wasn't on.
I was living vicariously through you, so yeah. You know when somebody says, I'm happy for you, but their jaws clenched. That's what right now. I'm so happy for you guys. So happy.
Yeah, he wants to bring you on. It's okay. They want to, he said we got to get Angelica on. So he just said it has to be in a bikini. So that wasn't my role, it was his.
No.
Through the snow.
Here's the thing is I don't do filters, and because of that, I don't think it's what he would expect. There's no way. Absolutely not.
I'm just joking.
I've had farmer's tan, like a literal actual farmer's tan for I'd say the last decade of my life, and that's not going to change. So above the knee is white, and the tank top is white going in. I think the tan line shorter than that was for when I was in my 20s. So nope, we'll stay as far enough.
So someone said, I'm just kidding, but I think he'd like to have us all back on the show. At least that's the impression I got. So I'm not going to bug him about it. He's got enough going on, but if he reaches back out, I'll be sure to extend the invites. And someone said, well, Bobby, do you agree with censorship? Because if you delete their comments, you're essentially censoring. So I don't agree with censorship. You are right. I mean, it's kind of a mixed feelings on it, because it's kind of like they do have a voice. They could use their own channel for a voice. What happens if people searching for the truth come to my channel and I'm not defending all these arguments because I don't have time? And then it looks like I don't have an answer, but I do. So you see that's from my thing. That's my problem, is that I'm starting to get more replies or more comments that I can respond to. And I get the impression that if I don't respond to them and I don't have the time, that it looks like I lost the argument. And then someone who's there researching from a flat earth perspective or true earth perspective, whatever you want to call it, they're going to be like, well, he didn't have an answer. See, this guy is right. He said he debunked it and Bobby didn't respond. So that's why I say that, is because it's a lot of work to respond to each one of these individually. And sometimes I just don't have time.
I think that's just you probably overanalyzing it and thinking about that one too much at the end of the day. I mean, like I say, I would say, 95 to probably even more percentage of people, the majority of people that are watching our particular shows have got enough, as I say, enough discernment to realize sort of like where the bullshit is and to decipher. So I think you're probably analysing yourself a bit too critical there, Bobby.
Well, I just want to make sure. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, I think censorship is another one of those words that has taken on a meaning that it was never intended to. Censorship is being stifled from your voice, but that does not guarantee you that you have a platform of your choosing. So if you are in, let's say, any sort of public open domain, the city park, and you want to say something and someone puts tape over your mouth, that's censorship. But if you are inviting yourself to someone else's space, you're not guaranteed audience, you're not guaranteed a free platform. And so I mean, that'd be like saying that if you own a home, you're not allowed to lock the front door. It's your house, you can let in whoever you want. Not everyone's invited to your dinner table, and so I think people that would be concerned about censorship, they're more than welcome to have their own space, but they can't just invite themselves to yours without your permission.
I mean, Dan Morris there has got a good point. I mean, at the end of the day, especially like probably where your YouTube's concerned and things like that. Like, I mean, I was going to actually mention to this to you, Bobby, that we could do with some possibly some moderators if that's your worry within. And then just make some moderators being able to sort of bring a highlight certain people's comments. If we had
a respectful moderator, I'd love that. Like someone who's not going to,
well, that's what I was saying. Also, that I was going to mention to you as well, because like perfect example is when you didn't turn up, when you were a bit late today. You're a little bit late to the sort of like announced sort of like showing. I was just commenting in the YouTube chat because before you arrived and went live, there was a few in there having a good old chat, and I happened to mention in there that obviously you were a bit delayed, whatnot. But as for the YouTube channel, I would like probably some status in there as a mod or a.
Yeah, I'd love. Oh yeah, I didn't even think about that. I will. I'll give you and Angelica, and if anyone else, I probably got one or two people I could think of adding as well. And that would help me out, because right now I've been trying to.
No, not me. Not me. I can't even get my phone sideways. Y'all, like seriously, I can't. I can't do it.
Well, like I say, I'm even watching the chat now and on YouTube or whatever. And if anything came up, I could always moderate it. And
I'm going to do that. JD and Dan said no voice. And circling back to this, like the whole thing about giving them a voice. I one of the things I say is and I was putting this in a lot of comments, if you want to come on and talk about it, you can talk about it. Like, we'll talk about it, but maybe they don't deserve a voice in the chat, because it takes too long to type responses and all this. They don't deserve a voice in comments, but everyone's welcome. I'll take Brenda. Come on, everyone's welcome on the show. I don't mind if someone comes on the show and talks about it.
Brenda.
As long as you're going to be respectful and talk. Like my big thing is let's talk. Let's talk about it. That's why I called it the Flat Earth Chronicles. Like this, the whole point of the podcast, which had a separate name, was that I was going to talk with flat earthers and globe earthers and whatever your thoughts were. And I've got several people in the pipes right now. We've got a pastor who reached out to me. I'm not going to say his name or anything about him, but I've got a pastor who reached out to me and said, he hasn't came out to his congregation. And at first, when he heard this, he thought it was crazy, and he started looking into it, and he realized that it had truth in it, and he realized it aligned with the Bible, and he did his own research and realized, he came to what he believed, the same truth that we believe in. And now he's like, he doesn't know he's kind of like, I'm not sure how I'm going to handle this with my congregation, because he might lose his congregation, right? But he decided that he wants to come out on this channel. And how cool is that? So he wants to come on, and he wants to share his journey and his story and his proofs. And I thought that was super cool. So
I've reached out to a few people as well.
Probably do that.
Who are probably willing to come on.
Well, I'm a firm believer, if it can be burned away with fire, it should be, because that's going to be the only thing that stands the test. And so I understand that if he already has a congregation built, he is going to lose probably 95% easy right off the bat. And even biblically, there is precedence for that. Like, who's going to follow me once all the gifts are gone? And there's like a few stragglers that raise their hand and say, I will. But if he is to the point where he's wrestling with that in his conscience, he can't go back. I mean, if he goes back, he's going to be betraying himself every time he gets in that pulpit. And so to have a clear conscience, he has to go forward. And to have even a few of us and people in the comments that are like, hey, we hear you, buddy. And so at least he has a trapeze net to fall under when his congregation falls out. It's going to happen. But he can't go back. Otherwise, he won't be able to lay his head down on his pillow at night, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said, my wife likes Angelica as well. Yeah. So several people have, yeah. So Angelica's easy to, man, I was an atheist, and I'll share the story again. It's quick. I'll just share it real quick. Angelica prayed over me when I was like about to die once. And that's how I met her. And any other time I would have said, get the heck away from me. I would, and in different words when I was a different person. And, I actually thought I was going to die that night. I mean, it felt like I was dying, and, there was no better feeling. It was like being in a tub of hot water. And I was just like, oh my, and I was like, just keep it coming, keep it coming. It felt great. It was like, literally felt like warm water was being poured on me. And that's when she became someone important in my life. So, yeah, she's very easy to, and the way Stewart kind of came into the threesome, for lack of a better word here, is I didn't have a channel, right? I didn't have a voice. I didn't have a channel, but I just wanted to talk about it. Right. And I had a channel, but no one was talking. And Stewart's like, I'll talk with you. And I was like, cool. And we started talking, and we had a good time, and people were listening. So that's how we kind of came about. And then we, it's been rolling along ever since. So, and the whole point is we want to bring people on. If you're interested, I'm like, this is come on.
Yeah, I mean,
we've got,
it's like you, Bobby, though. I'm definitely interested on people coming on, especially to give us sort of their awakening story, if you will, how they became, if they're the sort of like flat earthers who have come to, they're either on the fence or they're fully there with it, sort of like their story. Yeah, that's an interesting topic to listen to people's
There's a buddy of mine I met on here too. Here's the thing: people call. You can email me, ask my number. You're welcome to call me if you want to talk to me. Usually it's better after 5. My 8 to 5 is pretty demanding, but if you want to talk to me, I'm down to talk, man. I met a really good one of the guys in here. He goes by TJ, but he's in there as Run Boston Bear. Man, we called and we talked and we just got along, man. And this is good people. And my point is, there's so many wonderful souls in this community. And if you want to come on the show, I'll bring you on the show. And if you just want to talk, like if you want to talk to me sometime, man, reach out. I'll send you my number. I'm down to talk. I love that. That's my whole motto is let's talk. Let's talk. Someone said Angela's blushing. She's
I'd love to know what, cause, can I just...
Oh, no, yeah, go ahead, Stewart, and then I'll explain.
No, I was just trying to make a comment on they live sunglasses there on. Nobody in real life wants to talk about it. If you can just emphasize on that particular, because I mean, if he's talking about flat Earth, and nobody really wants to talk. I mean, I'm out there. I want to talk about it. I'm out there 100% flat. It doesn't matter who I'm talking to, where I am. I'm out there flat. We have
to normalize it. Like TJ, the guy I'm talking about, TJ, he talks about it with cashiers and stuff at the grocery store. Like he brings it up. I think we as a community come out and we have to normalize it, but I think we have to practice not getting angry, right? And
that's very rarely. It's very rare will you get. I mean, okay, let's not talk about debating, because that sometimes when you do get into a debate, that can get a bit frustrating sometimes. But you look at most conversations that go on within the sort of like the flat Earth community, for want of an expression, it's all just placid, calm. I mean, that is just the aura and everything, the vibes that, to me, anyway, personally, that a flat earther is on those high vibrational sort of like scope, if you will, that they just feed that out. And I always say this, that I mean, it's like if you go to a party somewhere and you're having a fantastic time, the vibes are high, everybody's enjoying themselves, and it takes one person to walk in those doors that is sort of like down and miserable and giving it and the vibrations are low, and that automatically just boom, puts an atmosphere. And that's how I see it I mean, there's not I don't think anyway that there's not a flat Earth person could walk into a room and set that bad atmosphere. It's all high vibes. Yeah.
Joe Hill just stepped one real quick. Save that thought, because you know how forgetful I am. Joe Hill just stepped in with Eftupworld. If you're a Christian and you don't know about his channel, I love watching his stuff. He's the only one I've seen talk about what he's talking about. And when he broke this idea he saw, I don't know how he got it, but I was like, oh my God, my head exploded. Like my head literally it exploded into like if you're not a Christian, it's one of the things that can tip you. Angelica, I had sent you his stuff a long time ago. And one day you're going to talk with Joe, hopefully on this, and he's going to share with you this stuff I'm talking about, and your head's going to explode. So yeah. Check if you're a Christian and you haven't been to Joe's channel, man, really, I mean that from someone who's been watching his stuff, right? So I always feel blessed when he pops in.
I bet Angelica can't remember what she was going to say now when you said keep that thought.
No, I do. So what you were saying about the energy Stewart, and I'm outside right now, so if you hear traffic go by, what you're saying about the energy, it takes me back to the jiu-jitsu part of jiu-jitsu and coffee. Is the people that feel very confident in their ability to defend at the last possible moment are chill. They're sitting back, drinking their coffee or whatever, watching all the bar fight go on, knowing that their cauliflower ear is going to come into play when needed, but that doesn't need to be on the offensive. And the people that have the least substance to their ability to defend anything are typically very aggressive coming forward. So when we have these conversations with anyone in flat Earth, I would say to combine that energy of knowing that it's going to get it'll get backed up based on just fact and knowing that we have, it's almost a reserve tank that we can access at any point, that if we do get backed into the corner, we have that, but we don't need to pour it all out. That combined with, one of the first rules in sales is you have to be willing to walk away. And I think sometimes we want to be so adamant and to win over somebody that particular point, but we have to be able to walk away and come back, walk away and come back. And between those two things, it allows us to be chill and relaxed. And add on top is we don't really care about people's opinions as much as we probably used to,
well, Yeah. I mean, Paddy Nelson, I couldn't agree with you more there, mate. You're among friends anyway, mate.
Yep.
Paddy Nelson's comment where he's not jabbed and he's lost friends. I think we've all been there. We've all got the same story.
Yeah. let me mention this. So something I've been hearing more and more of, right, as I've heard people talking about true earth instead of flat earth, right? And someone had asked me about that, and I had never weighed it before, right? I'd always just said, well, I'm a flat earther, right? But when I weighed it, I think there's some advantages to saying a true earther. And I just wanted to mention that real quickly, and let me know if you disagree with me. A true earther is someone who believes in the truth, right? Like obviously if the earth is flat, it's flat, but here's why I like it. I think there's an advantage to saying a true earther, because if the earth is truly flat, that's what you believe in, but also it deplatforms flat people who fight the flat earth, right? Because you're not saying you're a flat earther. You're saying you believe in the true earth, whatever that is. Now, if it is flat or if it's leaning to flat, that's a discussion that has to take place before they can insult you. And it's something you can talk about without putting someone off. You're saying there's problems with the globe earth, right? That's a true earth implies that. It means I'm finding problems like space and ISS and, and a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. I'm finding problems. But I think that, oh, sorry about that. I said, yeah, my bad, brain fart. But I just think that there's some benefits to saying true earther. Yeah, I screwed up my brain. I asked my wife for some coffee. I need some coffee. Hopefully she's bringing it. But what are your all's thoughts? Anyone use the terms true earther? Hey, someone from Scotland. How cool is that, man? We're reaching the world. What are your all's thoughts on true earth versus flat earth?
When I was in court, I ended up leaning heavily more towards enclosed earth because it took off, flat earth has a stigma, right? Of caveman archaicness or whatever was painted on that. I ended up going with enclosed earth, mostly in my jargon, but I wish I would have had that at the time, Bobby. That would have helped.
I'm a topographical stationary flat plane man myself. a globe denier, topographical stationary flat plane.
Would it bother anyone? I'm just curious. Does anyone who considers themselves a flat earther, do they feel like someone who uses the terminology a true earther is dipping out, or does it, I kind of like true earther. It's because it deplatforms these people who ridicule flat earth based on those terms, right? I think it kind of just says, I think it's better and more appealing to the public to look into it. Yeah, that's just my thoughts. I don't know what your all's thoughts are on that. Yeah. Thomas Morgan, he came on the show, if I remember right. Yeah. Eftupworld. Check it out. If you're a Christian, I'm not joking, man. If you haven't seen the stuff he's talking about, it's so cool. I made a backup channel. I haven't uploaded anything to it. I'll share it. I've always admired DITRH. How cool is it? Those initials, right? Everyone says DIRH. Cool, right? It's so cool. So I came up with something. I'll show you guys. I think it's better than what I'm currently using. Hold on. Share my screen. And I'll explain why I'm using it. But where's screen share? Here we go. So my backup channel, which may become my primary channel, I don't know. I'll get thoughts on it. If you can, let me know if you can see it. I called it Yahtzee, like the game Yahtzee.
Yeah.
So it's Yahtzee, like the game Yahtzee. It's fun to say. It's cool to say Yahtzee. Have you been to Yahtzee's channel? and it's for yet another truther channel, right?
Yeah.
Because in IT, you're into IT programs and you go out to GitHub, you'll see yet another. It's always YA. It's always some program that starts with YA because it's yet another. But I haven't seen people doing that in the truther community. So it kind of marries IT, which I go way back in, with the truther community, and I become yet another truther channel. So, and a cool name, Yahtzee, right? Like, I just think that's catchy, right? I don't know. What are your all's thoughts? Is it stupid? Do you like it? Backup channel. I need a backup channel.
Looks good. That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. Is this a YouTube backup channel you're talking about, or YouTube general?
Well, I'd like to use it for everything, but YouTube backup channel. I thought it was a pretty cool name. It's just fun. It rolls off pretty good. Yahtzee, right? It's like that's so easy to remember. Everyone played Yahtzee as a kid. Well, not the new generation, but this is not a debate. Sorry, pretty boring today. I'd rather not debate anyone. I don't, like Angelica. What if someone come on and wanted to debate you? Would you want to do that?
I punch him right in the throat verbally. Yeah, bring it.
I think Angelica wants to. I think she wants to debate more he-she's. Don't you, Angelica? You love
Someone said the logo's too busy. That was like a 5-minute logo, by the way. It's not the final. I wanted something on the channel, but yeah, definitely not the final. I agree with you. That was just like me playing around in Canva for like 5 minutes.
It's not good.
So I wanted to ask an actual technical flat Earth question. It's like the radio call shows where you say, I'm gonna ask my question and then hang up. So I'm gonna ask the question and then put myself on mute because my girls are in the back throwing oranges at the back of my head right now. And every time I turn around, I can't even. They just know I'm on the phone, right? That's why I went outside and then they followed me. But it's too cold for them to stay outside, so I got the better. So okay. I think maybe I've been in flat Earth long enough that I forgot what I would have argued several years ago. So remind me from because I was thinking the other day, if for people that don't believe in a firmament or an enclosure, are they saying that the ozone itself is strong enough as the barrier or what have you? Because I was thinking, how if there's no, I was watching the videos on the vacuum against the vacuum chamber versus our atmosphere. How in the world? Yes. So, I mean, we know because we have logic and science on our side, but someone who does not believe in the firmament, how would they justify that we even still have helium on our planet at all? Because I don't know the rate at which helium rises, but I know if I let go of a balloon, it goes up pretty fast. So if we even have some of those lighter atomic particles, are they saying that the ozone is strong enough to keep it in? But why do we even have elements light such as those still at our disposal?
Two things real quick, Derek, I'll answer. I want to mention something about your concave Earth, and their answer is gravity, right? It's that at some point in time, gravity gets strong enough to hold the atmosphere down. I actually think Jeranism does a great job. He has this example he's shown. I know you've seen, you were there, but I've seen it before that. But it's exactly what my brain says would happen is any atmosphere next to a vacuum is going to get eaten away, and then you have the next level down, and then it gets eaten away. It's the same reason. Even in their fake model, in my opinion, right? The moon doesn't have an atmosphere. Like it wouldn't have an atmosphere because it would get ate away. You just can't have pressure next to a vacuum. I believe that. Call me stupid.
Oh, this is something that I thought. Sorry, go
ahead.
No, I was just saying this is something I didn't get a chance actually to 100% bring it up with Jeran when I was on his show, but the obvious sort of sort of like experiment that he has to. It seems that nearly on every one of his shows he has to explain it and explain it and explain it. The fact that you cannot have a pressurized system next to a vacuum without a barrier. It's like he explains: if you've got a box with a pressurized system within it, enclosed, sealed in a vacuum, you open that box up and that vacuum, the pressurized system within that sort of like contained system is going to automatically equalize itself out with the vacuum. And like he said, if it was like a long tube, the gradients, it would disappear at the top and then that would go down, and then that would disappear, and that would go down, and then that would disappear. And like the amount of times you got to explain it, the fact you cannot have a pressurized system next to a vacuum without a container, or else it's just going to disperse and find its own equilibrium within the vacuum. How hard is that to understand? And yet you've got to explain it over and over and over and over again. So that's
yeah, Joe, you would get. Joe said a verbal throat punch. He found that you and trust me, I've watched your stuff. I know you would jive with Angelica. I know you would. I can see you all wouldn't shut up. You just you'd suck all the knowledge out of each other's brains, and it would be like some Vulcan mind meld stuff. As far someone said concave Earth. Go ahead,
Bobby. Can you do a soundbite that you could just push a button like gravity? Can you do that? That would be awesome.
They make these little boxes that you can assign button sounds. I need to get one. I think Jaron has one. Someone said concave Earth, and I just want to say that I do look into everything, right? Because I think a truther can't be afraid to look into anything. If someone says the Earth is concave and you don't look at it, then you're guilty of the same thing you accuse people of when they don't look into flat Earth, right? If you go, dude, the Earth is flat, and you go, your friend goes, you're stupid, right? And you're like, just look into it, because if you knew they look into it, they'd see the truth. Well, if someone tells you the Earth's concave, you owe it to yourself to debunk it, I think. And if they tell you the Earth is square and the sun and moon go in straight lines, you owe it to yourself to investigate it. I think that's what truthers do. I will say this, that there was an experiment regarding the concave Earth. There was an experiment called the rectilineator experiment. And if you've ever seen a video on it, there's some really well-made videos that showcase the history and show the devices they used, where they measured along the beach that using these really, really precise frames, so to speak. It actually came up concave, right? And I'm not saying the Earth is concave, I'm not, but I'm saying, dang, that's some good evidence for a flat Earth. Instead of going down, it actually went up. So, I mean, if anything, if it was absolutely, wrong on being concave, it leans greatly to a flat Earth. I mean, I may be saying that wrong, but my point is, I don't think we should be afraid to investigate anything, right? Like, it's not you don't have to be embarrassed just because you look into it. But there's some channels I used to follow. I bet Joe's familiar with Awake Souls, because they go deep, and I like anyone who goes deep into Enoch. And even if I don't agree with everything they believe in, I do like learning about Enoch and some of the other apocrypha. But they're in the flat Earth model, right? RJ and them out there, and I'm not quite on board with that, but they want, like he said, if you're not on board with like square Earth, like, right? And I don't think that's necessary, right? Like, I think we're all on the same team. We're truthers, right? And they may not have the same belief in 5 years. I don't think we should be enemies, right? Like, if just because we don't share that common belief, like he's really like, if you're not on board with square Earth, then you're my enemy. And I'm like, well, why is that? Like,
where is this square Earth? Is it sort of like, is it supposed to be the expanse of this plane that we live on? How far that plane goes, we don't know. So are we supposed to have 4 corners at the end of however far it goes?
Bobby, did you watch that one video I sent you? I know it was kind of lengthy, but that to me was mind-blowing, because it actually put the circular enclosed Earth inside a square base, which came up to a pyramid on top. And there was lots of scripture that supported that. North, in many descriptions of a physical Earth, north was missing, as in it would say southeast, west, meaning that north was above, that type thing. And when I looked into that, I'm like, holy cow, that answers some things. But to have a circle, I mean, we've all seen I believe it's the Gleason map, right, that has the circle inside of a possible square. But then to have that 3-dimensional and come up to a pyramid point, I mean, it would justify some of the obsession that the occult has with the pyramids, as well as to replicate that. And that allows what was the Dr. Seuss, the Sneetches and the star belly Sneetches, where they all had a star on their belly, and then they were so adamant about switching. By the end, they switched and they're like, wait, I think the square and the circle Earth can be a star belly Sneetch of sorts and still come together and both be right.
Yeah, I think we don't have the resources to know the truth, right? We just know they're lying to us about globe Earth, and everything we look at supports a flat Earth, in my opinion. Flat Sabbath, I'm not trying to make that short, Angelica, but I want to respond to Flat Sabbath. He said, level isn't concave, it's flat and square. I agree with you. What I meant by the rectilinear project was that their measurements showed it going like this, which supported a concave Earth. And I'm not saying that experiment was accurate. I'm saying more than, if you subscribe to the thought that maybe they made some errors, then it would have been much easier to explain it going flat than it would dipping down, right? So I'm saying the rectilinear project, if you look at it, looks to be a really well done, fairly well done, right? I think it was very impressive for its time, but yeah, I think it at a bare minimum supports a flat Earth at a minimum, right? I'm a flat Earther, guys. Like, just heads up. I don't know if y'all knew that.
I think with these discrepancies, I think anything outside of the globe Earth is on the right track. I attest it to, if you're going, I think I had said something or referred to this before, but if you're driving on the highway from Florida to Chicago, you're going to be able to take one highway for most of the point, but at some point you're going to have to get off of an exit. And if you don't get off of that exit, then you're going in the wrong direction. Whereas several miles prior, you're going in the right direction. If you don't get off on the exit, you're going in the wrong direction. And so I think that you can ascribe to a certain thought process as long as it's on this side of the globe. You can ascribe to square, circular, concave, convex, up, down, left, right. And at some point, you're going to find an exit where you're like, if I don't get off here, then I'm going to now be going too far in the wrong direction. But you're still on the right highway. You just have to be willing to say, this is as far as I can ride out this thought. And I think sometimes our pride gets in the way. Not probably us so much. I say us because I think we're all over 20 or something like that. But when you're younger and you argue your point, kind of like how that one, like, if you don't believe this, you're my enemy in thought or what have you. When we were younger, whether in maturity or on the calendar, we all were very passionate about, this is correct, these are the facts I have. And then 10 years later, you look back and you're embarrassed by how adamant you were about an incorrect thing. And so I think that idea, immaturity of argument, and in that piece that you have within that reservoir of knowledge you have, allows you to start pretty much any conversation with the idea of, I reserve the right to be wrong. So you can prove me wrong, and here I'm going to stand with the knowledge I have, but I reserve the right to be incorrect at any point. And that it gives you a get out of jail free ticket if you watch your own conversations 10 years from now. And it also gives you that option to exit off whatever highway you're driving on. And I think as long as we're on this side of the globe, at least we're all driving in the right direction, I believe.
Yeah. What you said, I believe, goes with my statement that I think it's better to be a true earther, right? Because if nothing else, I don't think in 10 or 20 years it's very safe to say they're lying to us, right? Like that's like the safest assumption in the world, right? Like so yeah, a true earther by far. Someone else said something that I wanted to, in my brain, I just short circuited again. There it went, in and out. Even when I start saying it, Enoch. Yeah. No man. Yeah. What they say, I think what they say in the Bible, that if any man can know the measurements of the earth and sky, that they'll kick off some generation, some group of people off the earth, right? Something about that. That was, I know I'm butchering it, but I know Joe knows what I'm talking about. I'm just going through some of these comments. Did anyone see? Is there anyone here? I'm sure there's people here who didn't see that Taikonaut video I showed on Jaren's show. everyone's probably seen that the flatland water in the Chinese space station, the Tiangong space station. But when I played that video and listened, it said, "I got you." And I was like, man, just like that. And that I never heard anyone else notice that. And I noticed
I don't mean to put any sort of like mockers on your particular, but could the possibility be there where someone's edited it and taken the piss and just thrown that in?
No, here's the thing. Here's why. I'm going to here's why.
I got you.
Why.
Well, we've got a bit of a slow connection there.
It's got 2.9 million subscribers on the top.
Yep.
CGTN is funded in whole or in part by the Chinese government. So this is a Chinese website. So it hasn't heard this. I want to play something for you. Now, this is the video that makes, because they've got water lying flat, which if that can't happen, right? There's no way to get it to lay flat. You have to have gravity for water to ever lay flat. So this right here is either, CGI, augmented reality. I don't know how they did this, but it's not real. Water won't lay flat in zero gravity. It can't do it. Even other astronauts have said that. Actually, believe it or not, Don Pettit said it. But listen to this. If you haven't heard this, now, mind you that this isn't someone's channel like Bobby's channel where I edited in. I got you. This is their own channel. This is the only channel, CGTN. It's an official channel. Why does it have this voice clip on it? Listen very carefully. If you listen very carefully.
When the responding officers went to the bar, they noticed that there was a blue truck that was parked outside next to a red Chevy sedan.
Did you hear that?
There's a bit of a delayed connection going on here, Bobby.
Hearing that is my voice.
No, you're breaking up, mate. You're breaking up. I think you've got a bit of a bad connection tonight, Bobby.
I'm sorry. All right, maybe this video is too much. I have. It's been messing up lately when it doesn't. They're not giving me the bandwidth I'm aiming for. It's like something's going on. Water. Psychonauts. Right now, I'm doing that. Right now, that's what you're getting.
Yep.
It's chopping up like that.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you think you've got a bit of a bad connection tonight.
Let me try to this. Give me a second. I think I can fix it. You all talk. You guys talk. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Hey, so Stewart, I have my car running to keep my phone warm because it's only 20 degrees outside and it's saying moisture. So I know. So if I get kicked off of here, it's because the moisture content is too high in my USB cord. So I'm gonna stay as long as what this weather will allow.
When are you outside in the car?
Well, I'm trying to avoid my kids. So right. when I go outside, they follow me, and then my phone gets real cold. And then when I come inside, they're throwing stuff at my head. So I'm just defeated, Stewart. Straight up defeated. You hear?
Yeah.
I would pan around where I am, but I think only one of them's wearing pants. Upon my last observation. So when it gets below like 30 degrees, then my phone just gives a warning every time I try to plug it
in. Right. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Hello. Oh, I don't envy you, Angelica. I've been there, done that, worn the t-shirt with kids. Oh, never again.
All right.
think you've got a connection issue tonight, Bobby.
How about now?
No, you're frozen. Absolutely frozen. Just stop the screen sharing a sec, Bobby, and see if that'll probably help you. Oops, he's gone. He's gone. He's disappeared.
You're the host then, Stewart.
I'm the host, am I? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, but
If it's any, like I say, if it's anything like being on the Jeranism show, I just froze.
Yeah, now's your chance to run things the way you would run them if you were in charge.
That's not very well. Like I say, I've got a channel of my own. I haven't done anything on there for a while, and yeah, I don't think I haven't got that. I don't think I haven't got that. I haven't got that presenter's persona that sort of like drags people in. You know what I mean? It's one of them. I need a professional backup.
What we need to do now that Bobby's not on here is let's go ahead and ask a question. Whoever gets it right, we give away something that belongs to Bobby, and he won't even know, like his new gyroscope. Yeah. So you ask a flat Earth question.
Yeah.
First one with the right response.
Yeah, we're giving away a gyroscope.
And the question here. Okay, I'll do the question. Is the Earth a globe? Bam. First answer gets Bobby's gyroscope.
First one to post an answer. And we've given away Bobby's gyroscope that he's yet got to do.
And 1 month free of jiu-jitsu training.
All right. The first no is Big Pine. Big Pine sailing. I think we got a first no there, and
congrats,
Bob.
Congrats, you're the winner.
Congrats, Bob. You've got Bobby's gyroscope and 2 free lessons of what is it? His actual martial art? What is it? Is it?
It's jiu-jitsu. Yeah, just show up. Yeah, just PM Bobby your address, and we'll get that mailed right out to you. What else does he own that we could give away while he's not on here?
Oh, I don't know.
And a signed next prize is a signed gi. Hit one of his brand new competition gis, and he'll autograph it for you. So to win that, the question is there a dome above us? First answer. You get an autographed gi.
An autographed gi. I don't know. I think we're coming up, put his new logo up for patenting rights, and then anybody who answers the next question correctly can have his new logo.
and all the copyright proceeds that go with it, it'll be intellectual property. You get everything.
Yeah.
Bobby's gonna be so mad when he comes back on.
we've given all his stuff away.
But it's all to a good cause.
Yeah, I don't know. God made on the second day of creation. God made what? Oh, the firmament. God made it on the second day of creation. Yeah. Like I say, and I've said this before, haven't I? I mean, I wish I could come from a biblical point of view more to some degree than what I do or what I can. Hey up, I'm on my own now. What's happening? I'm on my own. No, I'm on my own. Everybody's left me. Everybody's like, oh,
Am I back? Am I good?
Bobby's back. I was getting afraid that I was all on my own. I don't know what Angelica's dipped out for some reason. She did say that it could possibly happen. Thanks, Big Pine. The All Right Stewart Show. By the way, while you were away, Bobby,
yeah,
we've given away. We had a little pub quiz, and we gave away a lot of your items. So I'm afraid you've got to give them all away now. You're frozen again. We've got a bad connection here. Is it? I don't know. Is it? Can I have? Is it the actual live feed, or is it just you, Bobby? Am I okay to everyone? Can I have some comments in the comment section if I'm okay? I seem to be okay. I don't seem to have frozen, but everybody else seems to be freezing and dipping out. Because Bobby seems to have frozen again. Hello.
See, you guys hear me?
I can hear you now, Bobby. Yeah, but you keep dipping out, and I've got Pine sailing. You good, Stewart? Right. I think I'm the only one with a decent connection here.
What's going on, man? This has never happened. It's never happened before.
No. We're having issues, unless it's the powers that be that don't want you getting any bigger, Bobby.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. Maybe I'm going to try one more thing, and if it doesn't work, we'll just have to do it another time, man. Let me try one more thing. I'm gonna vanish for a second, but try to hold down the fort for me. I'm going to reset one more thing.
I've got to hold down the fort, right?
I'll make it as fast as I can.
Yeah, we've got a bit of background stuff going on as well. Yeah, thank you, guys. Apparently, I'm clear, very clear, Stewart. Yep. So that's good. That's good. Well, good to a certain degree. But we've lost Angelica by the look of it. Bobby's frozen again. Could be a grabble tack. Oh. Enlighten me, Pine sailing there. A grabble tack. Love to know what a grabble tack is. Stewart, tell us your story. Oh, tell us your story. Thanks, Run Boston Bear. Right. Like I say, I mean, me and Bobby have talked about like that. I mean, one of the reasons we set up this particular live stream was to invite people to literally come live with us. If it's a debate, if you're a true glober, if you're still within that indoctrinated state, and you still think we live on this watery spinning ball in the midst of a vacuum, then you're also welcome to talk about it. But no, the stories, yes. We'd like people to come on with their story. Come on live on live video and tell us your story, because I think we've all been there. We've all been in the indoctrinated position when our educational system was hijacked in the mid 1900s. Lenny Mears, who's in the UK? Yeah, who else? Is there anybody in the chat in the UK a lot besides me? When did I become a flat earther? Matt H. Like I say, I'm a baby to all this, guys. I'm just a baby, really, compared to a lot of the people that are on the scene. I've only come out in the last 3 years, possibly 3.5 years. Oh, Riley, Liverpool, excellent. Yep, used to live near you. I used to live in Blackpool, just down the road from you there, Riley. We've got an Oklahoma, Cambridgeshire. Matt, excellent. But like I say, yeah, I'm a baby. I only came out 3.5 years ago as a 100% sort of like undeniable, sort of like out there flat earther, telling everybody, as we've had comments about you lose friends and family and everything. I was classed as a nutter. But yeah, I'm a baby to it all. But yeah, I've like I mentioned in other live streams before, if you look at previous ones where I've gone into my story of being coming into the flat Earth community, or realizing that we live on what I class as a topographical stationary flat plane. Yeah, it was. And believe it or not, it was Dave Wise that opened my eyes to it all, where he made me go in depth because of his sort of like the simplicity of flat Earth and how things work on a flat plane. It's once you get into it, it's so more understandable than a absolute impossible sort of like heliocentrism of supposedly a watery ball flying through infinite space in this infinite vacuum, and this so-called gravity keeps everything stuck to this ball. Impossible. And he's gone again. Came and gone. But yeah, Brooklyn. I'm just going through the chat. Sorry, I'm trying to talk and I'm going through the chats in case anybody makes a personal comment to myself. But yeah, 2015 here too. Right. Well, that was before my time. I mean, if you want my other, I mean, before I got into all this, it was the usual, wasn't it? You Googled, or somebody mentioned flat Earth. You Googled it, and you this is what, obviously, I mean, something like, hold on, I'll just do a little, I'll do a sort of a David Wise thingy bob here. One sec. Yeah, when you Googled in my day, when I used to Google, this is what you get: two false models of a heliocentric model and a flat Earth, supposedly disk floating amongst all the planets. So that's pretty much what you're indoctrinated to believe, isn't it? But yeah, that's what we've all been. That's what we've all been led to believe, that if you listen to the mainstream, sort of like Google, that we're in this heliocentric system on a supposedly flying flat disk amongst other round planets. Well, we the awakened, sort of like, who know this realm that we actually do live in, is what I like to call, and what a lot of people like to call, is the Antarctic. Well, I like to think we live in the Antarctic basin. We live in a pond, and how far that plane goes out from Antarctica, how far it goes out, is well, it's all speculation, isn't it? Because we're not allowed out there. And as all flat earthers know and are aware of the Antarctic Treaty, where nobody's allowed to independently explore. Yep. And yeah, I was a big NASA fan. I love me Star Wars. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still like all the Star Trek. If anybody else is into Star Trek, I mean, I think the best one out there is Next Generation, which I still watch, and it's yep. Matt H, I totally 100% agree with you. We need. I mean, they do it a lot in the US. I mean, if anybody follows Karen B in the US there, who organises quite a lot of US conventions and meetups, with certainly if there's any sort of like Brits out there that are willing to get in touch with me or whatever to organise a UK version of Oktoberfest, that'd be a good one. We need to get a convention going within the UK, get everybody a meetup somewhere, maybe central of the UK or whatever. That would be good. So if there's anybody out there, that would be brilliant. Yeah, we can obviously get the flat earthers together and meet up, because as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I've seen a lot of videos sort of like that have been created from the US's sort of like meetups of that Oktoberfest and a lot of other meetups they've had, and yeah, it's just an outright utter sort of fantastic time they have, because they're just great people to be around. Great people. The vibes are so high. Everybody's in a high vibrational state that then sort of like portrays onto you, and yeah, it's just a good time. So yeah, anybody interested in chatting with myself regarding a convention, a UK convention? That's conventions of people who want to make.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, Bobby, we can hear you now.
All right, let me know if I chop out.
Yeah. No, you seem quite fluent now. No, that's good. I don't know if it seemed to all start when you started screen sharing. So whether your internet connection or whatever sort of like dipped out a bit and not powerful enough to handle, but it seemed to all dip out when you started screen sharing. But yeah, I've been having to hold the fort, so I've just been generally talking about myself.
Yeah, Run Boston Bear said, looking forward to the debate. What debate did I miss?
Yeah, no. No, there's been no debate. There's been no debate. But like I said, I've just been nattering on about myself, because we were talking. Somebody mentioned about having a UK convention or a meetup, a flat Earth meetup, because you have them over there. I mean, Karen B's forever organising meetups and Oktoberfest and all that lot. We need one in the UK. We definitely need one, because I mean, there probably is. I don't know of any, and if anybody does know of any UK conferences that are happening or coming or on the way, please, yeah, slap it in the chat. Let me know. And if there isn't, let's get one organised.
Some of the people said concave all the way. Like, I just want to reply to that, because there's been a little bit of concave going on here. Send me the best you got. I'm just curious. Like, look, and I'm going to tell you now. It's going to be. I think we all know where I stand, but I'd love to see like what changed your mind. Like, I'd love to see it. Send it to me. Like I haven't seen anything. Like, what's the best you got? Send it to me. Email me at flattalk@bobbythompson.net. Because I will look at anything. But I think some of that stuff's there to confuse us. We have to be discerning. Someone said about Witsit. Oh, I guess Witsit's got a debate coming up. Maybe I must have missed that one tonight. Witsit.
Right.
Yeah, sorry, we lost.
I don't know what that's in relation to tonight.
Yeah, Stewart.
Is that? Yeah.
Two things. I'm going to make you I'm going to give you access to the restream as well. So just in case I lose connectivity going, I think I know what the problem is. I think it's my modem. I restarted it and changed the cable on it. It might've been the cable, but I think it's my modem's fleet. I think my modem's on the fritz.
Right.
I might also, JT, let me know if you're interested in being a mod. That'd be pretty cool. And have access to the channel. On Modern Day Debate, guys, if you're not checking out Modern Day Debate, check it out. Two other channels I've been watching recently and there's so many good ones. You hate to say, oh, watch this and watch that when you're not. It's like you're not being fair to the rest. You're cheating on them, right?
Yeah, the thing is that there's so many out there. There are so many. It's, you couldn't cover them all. To be on the fair side, you couldn't cover them all.
If you haven't checked out Flatzoid's perspective, check him out. I like he does almost daily. He does a lot of stuff. And again, Mellowdomes, those are good people, man. Personally, I think we should have a channel that's 24/7 where everyone had an hour.
I absolutely love Mellowdome. On the spur lives, when he just goes live on the spur, and it's just everything as it happens. It's absolutely brilliant. I've been in there a few times and made a few comments and whatnot, and yeah, it's been fun. It's fun.
So another thing I talked about on Jaren, and I hadn't thought about it in a while. Like a year ago, I looked into this idea, and it was I don't care if maybe someone else had the idea. I don't care. But for me, it was my idea. I was looking at the globe and I realized that Ushuaia, where it's situated at the 55th parallel south, If you go to somewhere on the 55th parallel north, Ushuaia should get 17 and a half hours of sun, visible sun, if the Earth is a globe. That's not possible on a flat Earth. It's not. It's just not.
I haven't actually, to be truthful, Bobby, I haven't actually looked into that one. I remember you talking about it on the Jeranism, and I haven't had a chance to look into that one. I'm not. It's one thing that gets me, the parallels, all the parallels within that's supposedly on a globe and how they translate to a flat plane. It's I've got to still suss all that out.
So I think it's the answer. It's the proof. All we got to do is go there. I tried to reach out to people. I sent probably 200 emails. I thought it was interesting. It was weird that I couldn't get anyone to get back with me. I just wanted to try to reach a random person. But honestly, I think one or several of us need to just hop. It's a quick flight for me, just hop over to South America, head down to Ushuaia in June. And that's the month that should be the most prevalent. That's when we should have the 17 and a half hour days. It's very simple. You don't have to go to Antarctica. You don't have to mess with them. They don't control it. All we got to do is get down to Ushuaia, and that's relatively cheap. And you'll probably see me down there in June. So if I disappear in June and y'all never hear from me again, you know what happened.
Yeah, you've disappeared. Yeah, you've decided to elope to Antarctica.
No. Well, I'm just saying, if I vanish and you never see me again, now you know why.
What we got to suspect from that conclusion?
That they abducted me, right? Like you can't go. I think they would, honestly. Like, look, if they knew 2 or 3 of us or one of us were going down there, right, and it would blow it out of the water. They'd be done. It'd be done, right?
Why is it like deserted there or something? Is it?
No, it's just a small. Man, it's a small place, and it's desolate. It's like it is a town. People do go there. People visit there. But if someone, I subscribe to Edward Snowden. I'm in IT. I know what's capable. But if you're a human being living on this earth, they have you listed as a desirable or undesirable. This is my belief system, right? Like you're either red or blue, right? Like they want you out or they don't. And if you don't think that for every agenda they have going, I can assure you, if you're getting ready to do something that's going to destroy one of those agendas, they know about it. They know about it, and it ain't going to happen. I mean, I don't think it's a great example, but look at Isaac Cappy, right? If you don't know who Isaac Cappy is, you need to figure it out.
No. Well, what you need to do is you keep publicizing it. I'm going to do it. I'm doing it. Set the date and everything. And then if you don't get accosted when you got your backpack on as you're leaving your house, then.
So let me know if anyone here who knows someone who lives in South Argentina, or, maybe Ushuaia, someone that lives, is there anyone that's seen reputable, that's seen a 15-hour sun in the Southern Hemisphere, like something significantly longer than 12. You might get a 12-and-a-half-hour sun through some type of refraction or something like that. But if you see a 15-hour sun, and honestly, there's supposed to be a 17-hour sun in Ushuaia. There's 17 and a half hours. Actually, a little over 17 and a half. That could only happen on a globe. If that were the case there, then, there'd be some problems for and that's definitive, right? Like there's just no disputing that. It doesn't work with the flat Earth. It doesn't work with the AE map. I can tell you that. You'd have to go to like some type of square Earth or something like that. But so I want to head down there because it'll squash the whole thing. And I think it's, June may be the month. Flat is not a shape. I agree with you. Yeah. I'm speaking off the cuff. I make lots of mistakes.
Yeah. Flat is not. Yeah. It's not a shape. It's just an expression of flat is. Yeah. Like I say, that's why I don't like using the word flat. When I talk about this realm, I talk about it being a topographical, motionless, sort of like flat plane. That's why I don't like using the word flat, because
again, I'm going to adopt true earther, and I'm going to try to not use the terms, because I think it deplatforms the people that are fighting against us, right? That it makes the argument a different argument, and they can't pinpoint you on this thing they've been pinpointing you on. I'd be really curious why I've heard. Man, I don't even like bringing up Jaren in a negative light. Like, I don't even like to say, why is Flatzoid I like Flatzoid, right? And I'm not going to change my mind about him. And I like Jaren, and I'm not going to change my mind about him, right? I mean, thank you. Wow. Okay, thank you.
Wow, look at that. Is that a brew? Is that a brew made for him?
My wife brought me an espresso, right? Like, hey, if you don't have a Filipino wife, you're missing out. You need a Filipino wife. I'm going to tell you right now.
No, I haven't got a Filipino wife. I've got an excellent partner here who regularly keeps me in stock of me cappuccinos.
All right, as long as his name's not Dan, we're right, or Brenda. Could be Brenda. I don't know.
What?
But look, like we, man, our team is so small, right? Our team is such a small team. And
what do you mean by team?
Our flat Earth, our true Earth team,
right.
our true Earth team is like, from what I've read, but I personally, I think they would lie to us like this, that they claim it's about 7% of the Earth, right? They claim it, but 7%, they claim that 11 million Brazilians are flat earther, right? Like that's admitted. That's admitted publicly. You can look it up. So, but that works out to about 7% of the Earth population, right? So they want to tell us it's 7%. Personally, I think they would lie to us. I think if it were 50%, they would tell us it's 7%. And they do that to discourage people from talking about it. Like, oh, you're stupid. You're one of the 7%, right? But from what I understand, 50% of people in the UK don't believe we've been on the moon, right? That's what I've read. I think I would put that higher. Now so much now more so, I think, especially after the way I see it anyway, like the community that I have around me now, ever since these last 2 years and all the crap that's been going on in the last couple of years, it's set doubt in a lot of people's mind as to what the true agenda is now from the whatever you want to call them, the elites, the globalists, the Illuminati, so many names,
however you want to describe them. And I think there's a lot more awakening happening at the moment, like I say, especially within this last 2 years of crap. I think I would put sort of like moon landing believers a bit, but I would put it over 50% now. I mean, there's just so much evidence out there now. But
Tony's Coffee House said, "See my coffee, man. I'm a coffee connoisseur. I lived in Italy for 2 years, so I got turned on to coffee, man. I love me some good coffee. If I knew where your coffee house was, I'd be coming through and stop at it. So, let me know where it's at. I do a lot of traveling. I like to travel around the U.S.
Lenny again gives another point that they're all flat. They just don't know it yet. I think I honestly, in my own true, I know we are of a minority, but I also like to think there is a lot of people out there that are either on the fence or going more away from the heliocentrism, whether they actually believe what we live on, but they're going away from the fact that heliocentrism and that it's just impossible as to what we're told, this sort of system that we're in. But like I say, I think a lot of them are just too scared. A lot of them, be it job, be it family, friends, or whatever. I think there's a lot of people out there that are, because there's that, to them, there's still that stigma. There's that stigma there of you mentioned that you're a flat earther, and wow. I mean, like I've said before, flat Earth has got to be one of the biggest trigger zones or trigger mechanisms out there. There's nothing else like we've mentioned before. You can talk about religion, you can talk about football, you can talk about whatever. I mean, this world's created to be divide and conquer. We're divided, but you can talk about nearly everything. Even space being false or moon landings not happening or whatever, even the fact that the facts of 9/11, there's some controversial sort of like things on that. But the moment you mention the flat earth, and maybe that you're a flat earth or a globe denier, or in my case, I'm a topographical stationary flat planer. But you mentioned that, and the trigger mechanism on that is, I don't know, it's just unbelievable. It is absolutely unbelievable. But how many people are actually out there that probably are flat earthers underneath, but don't feel confident enough to come out on it.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's my rant over with.
Yeah, someone said breaking news, another leak on the ISS, on the fake ISS. I agree with you. And they are certainly all flat. They just don't know it yet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, someone said, was it Thomas who said it? They said, I don't care. Like they said, even though he's against the scriptures, I still like him. Right. I mean, that wouldn't be cool of me to not love someone because they're not a Christian, right? Like Jesus, Jesus had dinners with people who are non-Christians, right? They were thieves and other things, but we don't have to agree. Like he believes in a God. I believe it. Like in his opinion, I'm not fully baked yet. In my opinion, he's not fully baked yet. One of us isn't fully baked yet, but we're both in the oven. We're both baking. That's all that matters, right? In the end, probably we may or may not end up in the same place, but
you're both respectful of each other's.
Yeah. I think that I don't think there's a such thing as a true Earth, flat Earth. I'm going to struggle with this for a week or two. I don't think there's a such thing as a true Earth shill, right? Or flat Earth shill. And here's why: is it brings down all the lies. Like some people say, like Eric Dubay or Jaron, or they'll say even Bob Nodell, or I've even heard people say David. And I disagree wholeheartedly because it brings down you're going to fail. Like you can't be a gatekeeper and using flat Earth. You just can't do it. It destroys everything. You can't once that veil comes down and you see that they've been lying to you about the Earth, all of the veils come down. There's no such thing as a flat Earth gatekeeper, right? It ain't going to work. So I don't think there can be a shill flat earther personally.
Sorry, I was just reading.
I'm reading them too. Yeah, I do. Sit there reading them. I'd say there's probably millions in Spain. Not if we're talking about flat earthers. I just saw it said thousands in Spain. I think there's way more. I think you're talking about hundreds of millions of flat earthers. Certainly, supposedly just 11 million in Brazil alone. I can't believe Brenda hasn't crashed this show yet.
I don't know. He's probably
is MC Toon on a live cast somewhere? Is that what's going on?
Yeah,
what's going on here?
He's otherwise engaged, sort of like shilling or trolling somebody else's channel. But
what's going on?
I mean, I've got to be honest with you. I'm sorry, but I find him, she. I find Shim. I find Shim very, very hard. I think I got about 15 minutes into it, mate. When you continued, because I went to bed. I continued watching. You were still live. 5 hours that night, wasn't it? You were live for?
Oh, I think it was 3. I don't think it was 5. No, 2.5 with Brenda. With Brenda, it was 2.5.
I meant the show where what's the name was on. What was he called? You had the other guest on, and then
Curtis Mercer or whatever. Yeah.
And he wanted to speak to Brenda, so you brought Brenda on, and that was a 5-hour show, that particular one. And like I say, when I put you back on, I couldn't believe when I was looking. Like, I went to bed, put laptop on, like, and everything. You were still there. And
let me say this, right? Like, I will let anyone on my show, and that's not. I don't mean that to devalue Curtis, right? Like, we're friends on Facebook. Anyone's willing to. If you want to add me on Facebook, add me. I'll we can be friends.
Same goes for me.
But my point is, everyone's welcome, right? Like, if we're gonna talk about the true Earth, and if other things come up, if you're into other things, because I'm also into conspiracies, you're welcome. Just don't assume that I share the same belief. I have my own beliefs. I think we all do. So just because I have someone on the show doesn't mean I share the same beliefs as them. But usually it's when someone's a true earther, your road ends up narrowing, and it's a pretty narrow path that true earthers walk.
Oh, definitely. Yep. I mean, like I say, and as far as like not just Brenda, others that put that the same type of the ones that sit there and put the same type of arguments up that Brenda does. I mean,
what I wanted to do with Brenda, so speaking candidly, I wanted to prove that I wanted to see to myself if I could not be bothered, right? Like if I could, because personally, I think that's a win for us, right?
Yeah.
I think if anyone who watches that show and sees her start yell at him, I respect, they want to be called a her. If I say her, it's only because they requested that. And I've lived in a country where that's the culture and you're supposed to do that. So it kind of grew on me. If she exploded several times, like completely irrationally, in my opinion, totally.
Well,
and I thought I wanted people to see that. I wanted people to see
that's the only
defenders of that side.
That's the only defense they've got half the time. That's the only defense they've got half the time is a sort of like to try and sort of like demoralize you or whatever. So that's what I say. I found it very hard, and you did very well in keeping your composure because I couldn't have done. I'd have probably just switched it off.
No, I think it'd be good to make. I don't think they could make negative clips about my side at that argument, right? Like I never lost my cool, even when she lost her cool, and that's what I wanted to do. That was my goal from that. That's what I wanted to do was prove that we're the rational ones. You want to talk? Let's talk about. It was very obvious who was irrational, right? And I wanted to prove that, and I think that's. I also wanted to kind of set an example. Maybe that's what we all need to strive for because, your credibility goes up. I think we all need to strive to be like Jordan Peterson. That's what we should all strive to be.
Yeah.
Just my opinion, right? That's my opinion. If you're trying to convince someone, we want to use logic and rationale and be calm.
I think, that's what you get, isn't it? If you have most of the channels out there, if you have a normal like flat earth sort of like conversation, I won't say debate, but when you say conversation, it's placid, it's all calm and collected. Obviously the worst example I think is when you debate someone with the likes of Brenda or whatever. I mean, I certainly couldn't debate Professor Dave.
I didn't set out to debate. Just like to clarify, I didn't consider it a debate. I wasn't going to debate her or him. It wasn't a debate. So it's I just set out to have a conversation. And my point is they can't, right? Like they can't even have a conversation.
There isn't. Yeah, it turns into a debate and it turns into a to-in and fro-in of, like I say, you kept your composure, you kept your calm. I certainly wouldn't have done to a certain extent. I'd have probably just disconnected him and said, right, sorry, I just can't put up with this any longer. Because at the end of the day, half the time as well, you're not getting anywhere. You're going around in circles all the time because they're not people like that. They're not willing to accept your explanations on things and say, well, I'll look into that. No, they've got their set opinion and that's how it is. So there's no even sort of like having a conversation or a sort of like a agree, disagree sort of like amicable sort of like, well, we'll have to agree to disagree on that one or anything like that. That their mindset, that's it. And I find that very difficult to comprehend myself.
Yeah. Derek said true earth is flat earth. And I said, and I agree with you, right? Like, again, I am a flat earther, but I'm going to start using the terminology true earther just because I believe it deplatforms them. And that's frustrating for them, right? Like that's really frustrating for MC Toon, Fight the Flat Earth, whoever, all those other goofballs out there, right? I think you deplatform them because true earth means just that, true. Like you can't debate it. Like what you're saying is I'm searching for the true earth. You can't be wrong in searching for truth. You can't. It's impossible, right? If you're saying I'm trying to reaffirm flat earth, which is what flat earth says, it says I'm trying to reaffirm flat earth, then you can be made to look like a fool. But if you say, oh no, I'm searching for the true earth cosmology, you can't be made to look a fool because your intent and what you're seeking is to reaffirm truth. So I just think it deplatforms them. I think that then you have to bring in all arguments, right? Because if you say I'm a true earther, they're gonna narrow you down. I mean, if you say you're a flat earther, they're gonna go, oh, refraction, and then they're gonna argue gravity. They got these two arguments you're locked into. But the moment you say, no, I'm a true earther, now they can't lock you out of the IS. Now you can say, let's look at this crap at the ISS, right? And we start looking at all this fakery. They can't say, because what they always do to angle out is they say, well, that didn't prove the shape of the earth. Maybe they're fake. Now it does. Now for a true earther, this all is very relevant.
The thing, my opinion on it is, like I say, as far as being a true earther, when you talk about space, we all know NASA is not a space agency. We all know the crap that comes out of there. But again, to get onto the topic of space, of the fact that NASA's lying, the fact of what those luminaries are in the sky, anything you get onto that, though, for me, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't prove one way or the other to me. I mean, what you're seeing above doesn't necessarily sort of like depict or say what am I standing on. So that to me, as far as proving anything, as far as a flat Earth is concerned, is it's irrelevant, really. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, for as far as I'm concerned, flat Earth comes into pretty much everything. The deception of why we have been indoctrinated to believe that we live in this heliocentrism is the answer to everything that the so-called globalists, the so-called controllers, whoever they are, like we say, since the mid-19th century, where they've sort of like taken over our education system and where the indoctrination pretty much started, and everything was taken out of the school curriculum to have their curriculum put in. But what's above doesn't depict to me what's below. So for me, a lot of my conversation is day-to-day experiences and what I can prove on this flat plane and what happens, because all the explanation, as far as I'm concerned, all explanations of how things work on this stationary flat plane, and that goes for everything, supposedly ships over the horizon, sunsets, all the arguments that a global will put to you is quite simplified on a flat plane on how these things work. So that's where I like to come from, and my not argument, discussion, explanations come from sort of like what happens down here, not what happens up there. Like I say, we all know NASA's bullshit and all this lot, so I think that's where I'm also come from that side of it, really.
Yeah. Was 77 says, what if a demon wants to be called an angel? That's a good question, right? Do you
deep, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, the argument is, do you call Brenda him or her? I don't even want to deal with this argument. Like, I don't even want to, like, it's an argument that, because, right, like in the eyes of God, it's wrong. So therefore for me, but at the same time, are you supposed to show politeness if someone, like, this is a really gray area, because this specific thing doesn't exist in the Bible. Like, nowhere in the Bible does it say if someone wants to be called something, you should call them something. Or like, it's very specific. It's very odd, right? We shouldn't acknowledge a demon as, I get that. What I can tell you is that I've been in a country where it is normalized, where if you ever go to the Philippines, they're an English speaking country primarily, and you cannot not interact with them. They're everywhere. And in that country, their choice is you get to be what you want to be. If you want to be called a girl, then that's why Filipinos struggle with he and she. Because here's the weird thing. I don't know if y'all know this. I know this is real quick, a little bit off topic. Filipinos don't have a.
Sorry, I'm just reading some of these comments at the moment, and they're quite hilarious, actually. But go on.
They don't have a word for him and her, or he or she. They have sha, which means he and she. Yeah, so. That's really weird, and that's how it happens. So when they translate into English, they don't care anyway. They're just like, so it's weird. You go over there and everyone's just a sha, right? They're a he or a she.
Well, yeah. But I mean, it's all gone down to politically correct. And at the end of the day, there's no one that can deny that biology states that we have X and Y chromosomes. You were either born male or you were born female. and I have got nothing wrong. I have no issues with anybody sort of like gendering themselves in whatever gender they want to gender themselves as. And I think I mentioned this before, the only one thing I have at the moment with this issue and the fact that we've gone too politically correct is the fact now that it's been pushed in the schools to young children. That I 100% disagree with, and it maddens me to think now they're going into schools and trying to genderize anything from 5-year-olds as to they could be this or they could be that. Let them frigging live their children life. Let them play. Let them go out, play with the mates. They don't need to be genderized at 5-year-olds, for God's sake. Sorry, I've just gone on a rant there, but it really, really annoys me. Yeah. But like Bobby said, there's not many topics. There's not many topics that we don't talk about on this particular channel. So, yeah. But to me, and I think it's no. You're muted.
Sorry. So I was trying to read some of these. I think I was trying to reply to some of the comments. I didn't realize I'm mute. But Globebusters has said, did you look at the video link of Brenda on cam that I left in your Brenda Sode comment? I didn't see that. I'm going to have to try to find it, but there's so many comments. I don't even know that I can. Can you email that to me at flattalk@bobbythompson.net? I'd like to see that. Do you have any coherent arguments? It's flat. It's provable. I'm just going through some of these. I try to read them all.
Yeah.
I personally, I know it's, I'm sorry if it's offensive to them, but I think all these trolls are actually, they know the Earth's flat. Personally, I think that Professor Dave, Simon, Dan, Brian Cox, Bill Nye, Neil deGrasse Tyson, they all know the truth. I think.
Do you think? Well,
yeah, all of them. They all do.
Yeah.
If they claim to have scientific brains, and they claim to have investigated this, like, I can see the deceit they're using. Like, for them to act like they don't know that Eratosthenes works both ways. You see what I'm saying? They're like, oh, it was proven. And then for them to act like definitively Eratosthenes existed when there's no record of him prior than it was very recent. Like he just came up and they said he existed a long time ago. I think that's just backfilled history.
Yeah. There's a lot of it.
For them to act like all this is fact and ignore the fact that if they'd looked at any flat earther that had a month of experience, they have answers to this and they intentionally leave those out. That's deceitful, right? It's the same thing that MC Toon did to Terry Eicher. He intentionally twisted, like if you look at Terry Eicher's video, I think it's called a PlaneTruth or the it's something like yours, something a little different, like the PlaneTruth or a PlaneTruth. But I watch his channel, but his name's Terry Eicher. I believe you. Right. Eratosthenes is a fictional character. I believe that was.
Yep, I think a lot of them in our so-called new textbooks, a lot of them I think are fictional characters, to say the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't looked into it that far to sort of like definitively say, right, well, that's a load of rubbish, blah blah blah. But yep, it all steers that way. That.
Well, I did. To Brenda's credit, you said to Brenda's credit, I did ask her what he wanted, what they wanted to be called, and someone Big Pine Sailing, Big Pine Sailing said that.
Who said to Brenda's credit?
They said that in their comment, they said to Brenda's credit. So I said, I did ask Brenda what they wanted to be called, and they said, she. So I used she because I want to be polite and I don't want to seem rude.
Yeah.
I know some people are going to have an issue with that.
I've not got an issue absolutely with that. If anybody, whatever sort of like label people want to give on themselves, then. But there's no denying. There's just no denying biology. X and Y chromosomes. There's no other. And so.
Professor Dave is it? I'm just going to the comments here. This. Yeah, it is a job. I think they're wealthy. Remember, it was ironic that Brenda couldn't show. I said, hey, she said she was very poor. I said, turn on your cam and show this poor room, place you're in. She said she lived in a shanty, but her cam wouldn't work. Everyone else's cams worked fine. But I think they're paid very well to be shills. But again, it's just my belief. I have nothing to back that up.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, and David White says the same thing, and I've always said it, that kudos out. I mean, a lot of people said to me, don't give him credit, but credit's got to go out, and kudos to the powers that be that have created this current system we're in, because you've got to have done a fantastic job to have indoctrinated pretty much the whole of a worldwide population into a belief system that's absolutely bunkum and crap. So kudos to the powers that be that have done all this, but also kudos to the ones that, well, probably to the high majority of people that are watching this particular channel at the moment that are obviously awake and know the script, and but.
Guys, weigh in the comments. One of my buddies just kind of really went down the Mandela effect rabbit hole, and kind of weigh in on that. Just like I'd like to see you weigh in on it, because they're really deep in it, and maybe I'm sure he'd appreciate your all's feedback. V. Thomas said, "Would you like it if someone didn't respect your pronoun?" I did refer to Brenda the entire show as she. I did. So I did respect Brenda's pronoun. Now that Brenda's not around, the question is, in this community, am I still obligated if I know he's a he? And so,
yeah,
one problem with my brain is my brain doesn't see anything as black and white. My brain sees everything as shades of gray, everything. Because I don't believe in absolute truth. I believe that, there's always more to learn, always, right?
Always. Always. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're talking to someone and they have got their specific sort of like pronoun or whatever sort of like genderism that they would like you to refer them to as, then out of respect, I'll do it. Not a problem. I've not got this phobia about that.
The gender pronouns. So Rich P, when you said gender pronouns equals less time on FE, I agree with you. I was trying to build common ground. So I was just trying to see if Brenda and me, I wanted to see if I could build common ground to see if how it would progress forward, right? Even with me trying to build common ground, I was trying to see if what the true intention there is, right? Because we're supposed to be able to have a rational conversation, and it's obviously, no matter how hard I tried, we couldn't find that ground to have a rational conversation. But I think overall, I respect their pronouns. I spent time in the Philippines, and I got to think about that argument, and in my head, I'm like, you know what? I don't have a problem. What I believe is not if I have to be a gentleman first and foremost, and if you ask me to call you something, then I should call you that. Now, what I'll tell my daughter about you is not necessarily going to be the same thing, right? You know.
But it's as you say that. It's as you say though. The fact that Brenda isn't present or whatever. This is your platform. This is your sort of like beliefs or your sort of. I mean, do we have to respect if it's something we don't believe in? Unless, like I say, yes, if you're having a one-to-one conversation with someone, respect them, whatever.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean to say it has to be pushed on us in our belief. And if we need to talk about alternatives or other sort of like forms of genderism or whatever, I mean, whichever way it went, it's your platform at the end of the day.
Yeah. Lenny says he's been looking into this since the 70s. That's an old schooler right there, man. I know there's a few of them out there. He's a super OG.
Yeah.
If you've been in this, I think I started looking around 2015. It was either the end of 2016. It might have been the middle, maybe, but it was either at the very latest beginning of 2016.
And as I say, I am literally. I mean, when I watch a lot of channels and I talk to a lot of people, I am literally a baby to all this. It's only, like I say, within the last 3.5 years, and I know a considerable amount to get me by to what this realm we're living in. And as I say, I'm a baby to it all, and it's remarkable. It's just one. I don't know. It's just
Was
beautiful.
77 said shared to flat Earth on Gab. I don't know what that means. Just out of curiosity, I don't know what that means.
Mm.
Yeah, gender is a waste of time. I absolutely agree with you. I don't even want to have a conversation about transgenderism. The only reason it kind of came up because I was just kind of curious what your all's thoughts were on it. But again, and I just kind of wanted to explain why I called her a she, right? Like why I called him.
Yeah.
This is so much. I don't even like talking about it. All right, moving on.
Do you believe in inner Earth? Well,
inner Earth. Did someone ask that question?
Yeah. Pedro
I mean, here's the thing. If you look at the biblical cosmology, it shows. I mean, it does show Sheol, right? I mean, it does show a cavern in there, and Enoch talks about it too. So, from the standpoint of a biblical Earth, I mean, obviously, we have no proof of that scientifically. There's no proof of that. But if I'm to believe, Enoch and the Bible, because that's also the way the Hebrews thought, then yeah, I would lean to believe that.
I haven't, like I say, I'm watching I am still listening to the audio, and I still haven't got my head around the whole concept of Enoch, because it's something I've just got into new, and I've just freshly, and as I say, I am listening to the audio of an evening when I get time or whatever, and it's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
If you can go on a long drive, there's one part in the book of Enoch where he goes into the math of the stars, like this star leaves this gate at this time and it takes this duration. And when you start listening to him talk about all these durations of the heavenly bodies, you're like, how could someone know this? It's like he starts talking about things that you couldn't even know. In my opinion, we're probably just figuring this out today. So if what he was even saying is true, which would be hard to confirm even today, then he'd have to have been given knowledge from some higher being.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just going to go totally off subject of what we're talking about here. But while I've got it in my head, I'm like you, Bobby, sometimes when something pops in, I have to mention it or else it won't, it'll go.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's something I was thinking about the other day, and I'd like other people's comments in the chat. As I say, totally off topic of what we're going on there with Enoch and that lot, but weather pressurized systems is one thing I was thinking about the other day. And we're told, aren't we? We're told that obviously the rain that falls is accumulated within the cumulus clouds and everything. It's built up, and then we get. I mean, have you ever thought that it's obviously in the words of low pressure and high pressure? Do you think, and obviously with the Bible in Genesis saying the waters are below, the waters above? I'm thinking I'd love to hear your views on this, Bobby. In a low pressurized system, do you think something's being released from the waters above, as opposed to maybe what is the firmament's made of? If it's because I don't know, is the water above pressurized held up, and in a low pressure system it's released, and it's nothing to do with the clouds or anything? I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you must have been in some big storms and some really powerful downfalls of rain. Can that come from an cumulus cloud, a puffy little cloud up in the sky? So, have you ever looked into? Have you have any thoughts on that? That something opens up above in a low pressure system and releases water to give us the rain and the storms that we have. And then in a high pressure system, it's just keeping it all intact up there, if you for want of an expression. And
I've never questioned. I've never had a reason to. I don't take anything as definitive truth. So I don't just go, oh, the science says clouds are obviously we know that. I mean, that I don't take things as definitive truth. So I don't, but I haven't questioned clouds, right? And my take on the design is that we do have, we're in a firmament. Like what I believe in my head is that we have a firmament over a flat plane. That plane may or may not extend on forever. There may or may not be more land out there. I believe that we're designed to be in this firmament that was created for us. I believe that it's underwater. That water may go on forever and ever sideways and forever and ever up, much like space would. And I believe that there's water below us, right? And so I guess in thinking about it, I don't really think that the land could go on endlessly. There may be more land beyond the firmament, but it would have to stop at some point, because I think that the land that's connected to the firmament, and I think that's floating in water, honestly. And how deep that water is, no idea.
Right.
And how much below us, no idea. Maybe like it could be endless, right? Like
it just seems like it's there in plain sight. Sort of like we're told in like weather forecasts on a high pressure system, it's fine and it's nice and all hunky dory, and then in a low pressure system is when we get bad weather and everything. And to me, some of the downpours that you get, the absolute drenching, the actual torrent of rain coming down, that can't come from an accumulus cloud that supposedly collected all the atmosphere, the water particles or whatever. However, clouds are sort of like supposed to work. But it makes a lot of sense to me. It was something I was just thinking about the other day. The low, high pressure system is the high pressure system keeping the waters above intact. Then the moment we've got a low pressure system, is that water released? But it's one to think about. Yeah, that was just my thoughts.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't have a reason to doubt that. I mean, it makes sense to me. The pressure, the weather pressure system, that system seems to, it doesn't cause a problem for any of my beliefs, so I'm okay with it for now. If it ever came into causing a problem, I'd have to reevaluate it.
I think if anything, that particular scenario strengthens the fact that we have got waters above, and we have got a pressurized system, and we live within this pressurized system. And the moment we get a low pressure system, that's when the waters are allowed in. So, but that to me strengthens the fact that we do live in this pressurized system. And again, you can't have a pressurized system that can keep all those waters above and yet be next to an infinite space vacuum. So,
yeah, I'm just going through some of these comments, trying to make sure. I would like to answer them all before we usually wrap up at about 2 hours. We're at 2 hours, so we're kind of at the end of the show. But I just want to kind of get to the bottom of the questions.
Been another good show, guys. Thank you for interacting, and it's been another good show. I do love these little chats we have. I mean, pretty much.
Look, I'd like to. If you're in this podcast, if you have a channel and you're trying to get some traction, come on my channel. Well, I'm all about. We're in a war, and we've got to be on the same team. We've got to be on the same side. Anyone out there looking out for themselves, I think we can kind of lose track of what we're trying to do here. And I think we all need to prop each other up. I think we got to do that. So I have a tiny voice in this community right now. It's like a micro voice. And I'd like to use it just to prop up all the other people out here trying to spread truth. So, man, don't hesitate to reach out, just because maybe you think, oh, well, I'm incompetent. I'd love to showcase your channel. Come on, talk about it, share all your.
Well, I also want to share my email address for anybody. We were talking earlier on about doing a UK get together, a UK meetup. So if anybody's got any ideas, any thingy bob, get in touch with me. My email address is worldaffairsuk@gmail.com. So that's worldaffairsuk@gmail.com. Drop me a line there and just chat. And like I say, if you want to get in touch about anything, and again, if you don't get in touch with Bobby, you get in touch with me or whatever. Regards, you want to come on the show, my email address is there. But certainly, if anybody is interested in organizing or getting together for a UK meetup, that'd be great, because as far as I know, I've never heard of one in the UK. But sorry, carry on, Bobby. That's my little
Dang, Eftupworld is still, I feel like a legend today, man. Like when people it's one thing, and I know Eftupworld, when I see someone in like Eftupworld or Mellowdome or certainly Jaren or DITRH, whatever you want to call him, right? It's weird because, and I've never even thought about myself like this. I never have, but I lay in bed at night and I watch these guys on 50-inch on a movie screen, right? Like
yeah.
I'm watching them on a movie screen, and blowing your mind. And then you're watching them the next night and the next week. It's like you've been watching them it's like they're friends, like them or Seinfeld or something. You've been watching them all the time, and you don't know them, so you're just kind of like watching them. And it's so amazing when they take the time out and drop in your show.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Drop in
Peter
your live stream.
just mentioned there Santos Bonacci. Do you ever watch him, Bobby? By any chance?
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I love what he's doing as well. The spiritual side of it and everything. And love that stuff. But I certainly follow Santos.
Rich P just made my day. Rich just made my entire day. He said, "You're on my 50-inch Panasonic right now. I feel like a legend. Like, I made it. I'm gonna absolutely I want to share one comment I got this week, and I know Eftupworld's seen these. I know anyone with a channel you may or may not have, right? Like someone came on a channel. I'm not going to say their name. But they left a comment and they said, "You're the only channel I watch, and this is how my family and my children are learn about the true earth, the true nature of this earth." Can you imagine that there's someone letting their children learn about the nature of this earth by watching me and saying, "Okay, it's okay. You can listen to him," right? And that's a lot of responsibility to have on my shoulders. I'm only sharing what I believe in, right? And I hope I'm not misguiding anyone, but all I can tell you is this is what I believe in. And I'm probably like,
we're just trying to teach our true realm and trying to get, if it's not obvious, I'm sorry, but it's not obvious by now that the indoctrinated system that we live, then there's no hope, I don't think. But,
It says, like a common saying, and I think anyone will agree with this, is a little bit of science will take you away from God, but a lot of science will bring you back to him, right? That's what happens. They give us enough science to take us away from God, but they don't teach you about star trails, and they don't teach you about the size of the moon and sun. They don't teach you that. They don't sit there and have a class on, look, the moon never changes its face. You see exactly 50%. They don't teach you all these things that kind of don't make sense on a globe earth model. They don't focus on any of that. They skim over it. They don't tell you the tides that we got. I heard about tides, but no one told me. I don't remember being in high school going, we have a high tide on the other side of the earth at the same time. It's like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
No.
So once you start looking at science deep, it doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, it's been a while, but before we go as well, can I just put, while I'm on tonight, I don't do a lot myself. Like I say, I was talking to when you decided to, when your network systems decided to flunk out earlier on, and I was talking to Angelica, and I was saying like I was on my own or whatever, and she said the show's yours, and I panicked like, oh no, like this. I mean, I just like to put it out there to everybody. I have got my own channel. It's PlaneTruth on YouTube. I would appreciate. I haven't put anything out for quite a while now, but I do want to start again now. Like I said to Angelica, I don't feel I've got that confidence, and I haven't got the persona. I haven't got the presenter persona to come across where somebody's going to sort of like watch my channel on a regular basis or something like that. But I would appreciate just to get them numbers up and get the thingy-bobs up. And the more I see, obviously, I'll try and do a lot more stuff on there. But it's PlaneTruth I think it's at PlaneTruth on YouTube. So if anybody can just go there, subscribe, just give some likes or whatever on some of my videos, and I would certainly appreciate that.
I think whenever you see a YouTube a flat earth channel, like me personally, I try to subscribe to as many as I can because it motivates them, and they're on our team, and it motivates them to spread more truth, right? It motivates them to make more make more videos. So I'm all about propping up. We're not in competition. We're on the same side. So
but other than that, like I say, I enjoy coming on here, having a chat with you there, Bobby, and like I say, we've got a very nice audience that seems to come on a regular basis now. Let's see if we can keep it up, spread that word, and it's been another good one, and thank you personally sincerely to everyone that's sort of like interacted and put some comments. We usually try and get to as many as we can, but yeah, it's been good.
If you want to come on, email me flattalk@bobbythompson.net.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to have you on the show. Stewart, as always, thanks for. I'll set you up. We'll give you some more. So if this ever happens in the future, you'll just be able to take total
also
control.
Think
without,
about
no problem.
Also think about sort of like giving me moderation on the YouTube.
I'm gonna do that as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for dropping in.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed it. It's gonna be a regular thing. I'm gonna try to do 2 a week. I'll spread that out there. We'll see. I'm gonna try to do Wednesday nights as well. So.
All right. Yeah, no problem.
Right.
Yep. I'll keep in touch, Bobby. And as again, thanks guys, everybody in the chat, and we'll see you next time.
Take care, everyone.